What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Zeta here, and we are back at it again to drop What If Naruto Was a Perfect Hybrid? Now, you may be wondering, what even is a perfect hybrid? Well, let me explain. If you have ever seen Dragon Ball Z in your life, then you guys probably know about a character by the name of Cell, the accumulation of a bunch of the greatest fighters' cells brought together into one being. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you guys ever wondered what would happen if a character in the Naruto world had every single cell from every single clan or the world's greatest fighters? Well, that's essentially what Naruto is going to be in this video. So, if you're hyped about that idea, then definitely stick around to find out how this what if is going to play out. With that being said, I'm going to play the intro, so hit it!
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
So before I do get started, I just want to say one quick thing. This is going to be a one-shot or a movie what if, I guess you could say. Meaning it's going to be covering the entirety of the series of Naruto. With that being said, let's get started. Okay, so we start off our story on the day of the Nine Tails incident. Now, just like in canon, Minato and Kushina would sacrifice their lives for Naruto, leading to a baby Naruto waiting like right beside the dead bodies of Minato and Kushina. In this version, we are going to be making one slight change. Hiruzen is not going to be fast enough to get to a baby Naruto and save him and have Kushina raise Naruto. Instead, what ends up happening is a man by the name of Orochimaru is cruising through the village, taking bodies from children and trying to do some crazy experiments. And with that, he ends up stumbling across the bodies of Minato and Kushina. With this, Orochimaru kind of is just happy the fact that Minato has been basically taken care of. And we would just see a Kushina lifting her hands up saying, "Help, Naruto, raise him." But she would look up and see Orochimaru's face. Immediately, her face would turn to one of horror, as she would look at an Orochimaru who grabs the baby Naruto, who just had the Nine Tails sealed, mind you, and then proceeds to then just tremble in fear as she says, "No, wait." She tries to get up with all her strength and try to fight back against Orochimaru to save her kid, but she simply can't. Orochimaru would stomp on Kushina's hand as he would say, "Pathetic fool, you're not gonna stop me. I'm gonna take your child and turn him into the greatest warrior ever." As he would then take out a syringe and stab it into Minato's neck, and then basically running off with the baby Naruto in his hand. He would then proceed to get very, very far from the village as he would take Naruto to one of his many hideouts. It's here where the experiments would begin on a baby Naruto. For years, Naruto would have syringes stabbed into him and a bunch of experiments performed on him. Naruto would literally be the accumulation of the world's greatest warriors into one. So think Shisui, Itachi, think Obito, think Konan, think every single person who you guys can think of that Orochimaru has met or that he has access to one of their bodies. Literally think that. He has access to every single clan's abilities except for the ones that are just so ancient that you just can't get a hold of them. So that means that Naruto definitely will have Hashirama cells, Madara cells. He's going to be having the cells of Minato himself, which are already there, but even more amplified. Cells from the Aburame clan, the clan that Ino's part of, Shikamaru's clan, Choji's clan, literally anything you guys can think of. He is going to be having the cells of fighters just like that. And even the cells from Hakumo Hatake. I don't know, the white fang of the leaf. If you guys remember Kakashi's father, that's basically whose cells he's going to be having. Now, just kind of imagine all of the greatest warriors who have ever existed in the Naruto-verse, such as the people who Kabuto ended up reviving. Just imagine Naruto having a bunch of cells from a bunch of very, very powerful ninjas. The cells of Hashirama and Madara alone are more than enough to make Naruto a powerhouse in and of itself. But now, he has even more powers on top of that. So he gets Getsu cells. He has anything and everything you guys can think of. And through various experiments, Naruto's hair color would begin to change as it would then morph into a black hair. After being mixed around with every color, it would have turned white, it would have turned black, it would have turned brown. But at the end of everything, by the time that Naruto was going to be 10 years old, Naruto's hair color would have just stayed stagnant at black, with him looking exactly like what he looks like in the thumbnail. Naruto would not actually have just normal eyes, because Naruto will actually be having the innate ability to have access to the Byakugan, the Sharingan, the Ketsuryugan. He literally has access to any Jojutsu in the Naruto world, because this Naruto is going to be very much like Cell, where, if you guys do remember, Cell was an experiment by Dr. Gero, who essentially was given the cells of all the Z fighters, hence was able to use all of their abilities. Now just imagine Naruto. And as soon as Orochimaru is on one of his last experiments before he's, planning to take this boy's body, the body of Naruto, and the body of the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, during this times, Orochimaru would open the tank as Naruto's eyes would widen. He would look at Orochimaru as he would immediately rush at him, as he would grab him by the throat and smash him into a wall. Orochimaru would try to use the snake jutsu as he would shoot it at Naruto, but Naruto would turn into water as he quite literally melts on the ground and literally swims up Orochimaru in water form. As he begins to just constrict onto Orochimaru's body, using the ability of Choji's family to pretty much grow in size, as he would begin to crush Orochimaru. Orochimaru would regurgitate out of his mouth, as this would lead to a very insane battle, which ends up blowing up half of the literal chamber that he's in. Naruto would be using wood style, and innately he would even have access to the Mangekyo Sharingan, a perfect eternal one at that. Also having access to a perfect Byakugan, or what's it called, the Tenseigan. Yeah, the Tenseigan. Just think about that. Naruto has one in each eye. And Naruto would simply look at Orochimaru after activating these visual dojutsus, as a blue aura would coat his body, and Orochimaru would tremble in fear. As he would not only tremble, he would just feel the magnificent aura coming off of Naruto, as he would say, "It's perfect." As he would rush at Naruto, and Naruto's presence just doesn't let him move. Orochimaru would stay stagnant, just looking at Naruto's body glow. As Naruto stares at Orochimaru, he would simply turn to his direction as he would say, "Judgment will be cast on you. Die." He would quite literally rush at Orochimaru, as he would proceed to use such blinding speed that Orochimaru wouldn't see, as his body just gets cut up into tiny little pieces, just completely into a bunch of small little pieces. And then Naruto, with one hand, would simply point it outside of his mouth as he would say, "Fire style, Phoenix Fire Jutsu," as he would shoot a bunch of phoenixes, obliterating Orochimaru's body. Now, at this point, Orochimaru would be dead, and Naruto would simply stay there, as he has no recollection of the outside world. The only thing that Naruto has ever known is this hideout. So, Naruto would go over to a bunch of the other test tubes as he would free a bunch of the other kids, but none of them would survive. They were pretty much just corpses. After this, Naruto grabbed some clothes, just a bunch of a black outfit, and then literally leaves Orochimaru's hideout. Now, it's at this point that Naruto would actually stumble across Kabuto on his way out, but all Naruto would do is take out a kunai, slice Kabuto's throat with it, and walk out. And it's at this point that Naruto would wander in one straight direction, ending up actually arriving across a village. Now, for plot's sake, I'm just going to be saying that he ends up literally wandering over to Konoha, and he's literally just wiggling his way over there. As the village guards see him, they're like, "What are you doing here?" They hold up a kunai to Naruto, and he just drops down onto the ground, literally unconscious. One of them, however, got glimpse of the fact that he had a Sharingan in one eye. And it's at this point that they would immediately report this to Hiruzen. After this, Naruto would be taken to the emergency room, and Hiruzen would stand right beside Naruto, as well as a bunch of Anbu Black Ops members. Immediately, Naruto would open his eyes as he would sit up and say, "What am I doing here?" He would look at the direction of everybody around him as he would say, "Stay back, I'm warning you." As immediately, Hiruzen would stick his hand out saying, "Calm down, you're not in any danger. I have a couple questions for you. What are you doing here, and what's your name?" Naruto would look down at the ground as he would say, My name?" He would begin to think on what his name even is, as he wouldn't think, no. He would just begin stumbling as his memories would just be so faded and dark. He would say, Naruto. As Hiruzen hearing that name would say, what? What did you just say? Naruto would look at Hiruzen as he would say, my name's Naruto. At least I think. And Hiruzen would go in as he would hug Naruto so tightly. As a teardrop would just come down from his eye, he would say, I thought I lost you. Naruto would look at this old man as he would say, what? But he would just let it happen. Naruto would then look at Hiruzen's direction as Hiruzen would tell the Anbu that they can get out of here. Immediately, Hiruzen would ask where he's been, and Naruto would say that he doesn't know. All he knows is that some man with white skin, dark hair, and purple painting around his eyes was holding him captive for years, performing countless horrible experiments on his body. And Naruto at this point, his eyes would just start flicking random colors as it would just be switching in and out of random dojutsus. Or Hiruzen seeing this would just be in complete utter disbelief, as Naruto's skin would literally start falling off, turning into paper. And Naruto would look at his hands as he would just say, what's happening to me? Immediately Hiruzen would just look at Naruto as he would say, dear God, what has Orochimaru done to you? As it's to this point that Naruto would quite literally turn into water, as he wouldn't be able to turn back into his physical form, as he would just ask Hiruzen what's wrong with him. But this is when out of nowhere Naruto would just lose himself, as he would go back to his normal state and look at Hiruzen with a drone type state. Hiruzen would look at Naruto's direction as he would just be wondering what it is that Orochimaru even did to this boy. As it's to this point that Hiruzen would just look at Naruto and say, God, you need help. It's at this point that he would call one of his most trusted ninjas, Kakashi Hatake, and he would walk in there as he would look at the sight of a Naruto who, doesn't actually look anything like Kushina or Minato. He would actually question if this even is Naruto, but Hiruzen would explain that Orochimaru performed various different tests on this boy, and that led to his appearance changing. Naruto would look at Kakashi's direction, as instead of going into the academy like many of the other kids would, instead Naruto would, for the next 3 years until he is 13 years old, would end up training each and every single one of his abilities. Each and every clan ability he would train with Hyugas in secret. He would actually end up having to train with Hisashi Hyuga, the man who would one day be responsible of teaching Naruto the Gentle Fist. Naruto would be it's not even a prodigy or a genius. He is a generational genius. And when I say generational, I mean every thousands of years, there's one person like this. Naruto can pick up techniques so fast and master them so quickly. It is not even a joke. The Gentle Fist was child's play to Naruto. Now just imagine every other ability that I've ever said in the Naruto universe. He masters it in 3 years. By the end of those 3 years, he is completely and utterly able to decimate, and I mean decimate, Kakashi in battle. No matter what Kakashi ever tries, Naruto always wins, and that's how it always stays. Eventually it gets to a point where Naruto gets even more powerful than Hiruzen, and Naruto has access to all 5 chakra natures, as well as yin and yang release, because he has access to a lot of old shinobis who have lived during history. So with that comes Naruto having one of the only big challenges for him, mastering the power of Kurama. Now, when it comes to that, that's something that Naruto quite literally isn't able to do. Kurama is just adamant about not helping Naruto out in the slightest, but Naruto does have access to KCM1. Not because Naruto is friends with Kurama, but just because he was able to put Kurama in submission. He ended up ripping off the tag and actually meeting his father Minato. And when Minato saw Naruto with this different color hair, he wondered what happened. But Naruto explains that he was experimented on by a man by the name of Orochimaru. And Minato just felt so sorry that he wasn't able to survive that day and save his son from that fate. But he would smile as he would tell Naruto that if he's truly ready, to which Naruto would say he is. And that same day, he would even meet his mother Kushina Uzumaki, as she would hug him tightly, saying that she thought that this day would never come. Naruto would just kind of not really have too many emotions, but just look at Kushina as he's like, so you're my mom, huh? And Kushina would explain to Naruto that she is. She uses chains to wrap up the Nine Tails for a little bit, and Naruto would actually be quite surprised by this. He would attempt it once as he would get it perfect, down packed, restraining the Nine Tails, and then quite literally proceeding to coat himself with the aura of the Tenseigan, as well as using a gigantic Susanoo armor on top of that. He would have blitzed at the Nine Tails as the Nine Tails' eyes would widen and it would just get knocked out completely. The Nine Tails then gave him access to his chakra, not willingly of course, but against its will. That's pretty much like how OP Naruto is. This is basically how OP can Naruto get. This is the what if about that exactly. And so after this, Hiruzen would actually decide that Naruto has no need whatsoever to actually end up being on no Team 7 or anything. So Naruto was instantly promoted to the Jonin rank and a secret actual rank in the village as well, the Shadow Kage. Yeah, that's right. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't actually get the Shadow Kage role, but he does get to be the Anbu. He does go into Hiruzen's own Anbu, and he does actually end up, getting very, very powerful and a lot of respect from a lot of the people in the village. Nobody knows who, Naruto is exactly, and Danzo doesn't even know that Naruto has the Nine Tails within himself. He knows that Naruto is a very powerful shinobi, capable one at that, and he's been wanting to get his hands on Naruto, but Hiruzen, yeah, he's not gonna allow that. So with that comes Naruto going on his very first mission. This mission would be alongside another ninja by the name of Kakashi. This one would be to go take out to go help a bridge builder go to the land of the waves. Now, immediately what happens is, since this isn't exactly on the same day as, the Demon Brother attack, exactly at the same time, it's actually about 1 month sooner, he doesn't end up running into the Demon Brother. However, one person that he does end up running into is Zabuza Momoichi. But when Naruto runs into Zabuza, it's not even a challenge. The second that, Zabuza appears and uses the mist jutsu, Naruto would quite literally just use palm rotation as all of the mist is just cleared up. And just Zabuza would be shocked, questioning how strong this person is. Because Naruto's wearing a mask, mind you. And so, Zabuza would just look at Naruto as he grabs his sword and rushes at him. But what Naruto would do is quite literally use the transformation jutsu, transforming his arms into two gigantic blades. As he would stop Zabuza's blade and then turn into water right in front of Zabuza, just shocking him completely. He would appear behind Zabuza, and immediately Haku would jump out of the bushes. She would rush at Naruto, but Naruto could feel Haku's presence all along. So what Naruto would do is, in one swift move, spin as he would take out a kunai and he would throw it up into the air. And Haku would have never noticed the speed, this blinding speed that Naruto just displayed, as he would quite literally use flying Raijin, appearing in the air, and then come down as he would say, Rasengan, smashing a gigantic Rasengan right into the back of Haku, causing his body to slam across the pavement and just being KO'd. After this, Naruto would look at Zabuza as he would say, "You're done." And Zabuza's eyes would widen as Naruto would rush at Zabuza's direction, as he would quite literally just blitz at him and stab a sword straight through Zabuza's heart. He would then pull it out and sheath it back into his, sword holster. As after this, they would take Tazuna back to the bridge and he would finish building it. Hence, the Great Naruto Bridge. After this, we have him reporting back to the village, and during this time, Team 7 would still be on some very lame mission. Now, with the fact that Naruto's already a Chunin, or no, not a Chunin, but a Jonin, he has no need for the Chunin exams. So all that, it kind of just plays very boringly until, the end. And since Orochimaru's not alive, at least not yet again, then there would be no Great Konoha Crush. So the Sand Village would have never ended up having that situation happen. And with, Sasuke fighting against Gaara, I think the safe thing to say is Gaara ended up going a little bit crazy, but with all the ninjas in the stance and with there being no real attack on the Konoha village, they ended up basically just calming Gaara down, or so Hiruzen calmed Gaara down, and that pretty much wrapped up the Chunin exams. As for who the winner of the Chunin exams is, obviously Shikamaru still won, and I'm going to be saying that Gaara didn't win because he can't control himself. Sasuke didn't win either, and the only winner was really just Shikamaru, because he understands when to quit. And so with that, we basically just have it to which after this, we really have nothing to cover. Hiruzen doesn't need no backup Hokage, but Naruto does, however, end up meeting Jiraiya. Ends up actually finding out that Orochimaru was killed by this boy, and ends up wanting to find out just how powerful Naruto is. Naruto's aura just doesn't feel too powerful in and of itself until Naruto starts powering up, aka activating his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in one eye, his Tenseigan in the other, Tenseigan cloak, KCM on top of that, and you just have a big bad monster, man. It's just not funny. His eyes would even turn into a black, his eyes would even have the black sage mode that Hashirama had. I think it was slug sage mode. I'm not sure what sage mode Hashirama had, but it was very powerful, that. And so Jiraiya, just feeling this aura of power, would not question it further, simply stating, yep, you're powerful. Yep. I think I'm gonna go. As that's basically just how that plays out. And for the rest of the series, we basically just have like Naruto realizing the threat of the Akatsuki. However, this isn't a threat to Naruto, like not in the absolute slightest. Naruto quite literally decimates Itachi and Kisame when they arrive to the village. It's not even a fight, it's a literal massacre. And afterwards, the rest of the, Akatsuki members realize, yeah, we gotta do something about this Naruto kid. But if you guys don't remember, Naruto has every dojutsu available, all right? Every jutsu in the Naruto world available. Well, not all of them, but a vast majority of the powerful ones. He has all the abilities of the Akatsuki members, and then some more. So it's not fair at all. It's a very big massacre, and the Akatsuki just gets stomped on. After this, we have Naruto becoming the Kage of the village, and that basically wraps up what if Naruto was a perfect hybrid, aka what if Naruto was experimented on, or you could say what if Naruto was Cell's reincarnation. Not really though, because if he was, he'd be 20 million times more OP than this. So yeah, I think that this is a pretty great spot to leave the what if off on. It's honestly just what if Naruto was OP, very OP, and no one could stop him. So if at any point in this story you guys ended up liking what I did, then please make sure to consider going down below, smashing the like button, as well as checking out Fandom, the sponsors of today's video. Now, Fandom, guys, is an anime merch company which you guys can go to if you guys have ever wanted to buy yourself some very dope anime merch. Up on screen right now, you guys should be seeing a variety of selections from which you guys can choose from. They offer My Hero and, Jujutsu Kaisen. They offer Naruto. They pretty much offer all the mainstream anime that you guys can think of. And they have very wide selection of clothes. They have hoodies, jackets, shirts, pants. They literally have everything. So if you guys want to get a good bang for your buck, then I would definitely check out Fandom. But with that being said, though, guys, it has been your boy Zether. And I love every single one of you guys. And I'm out. Peace.